Welcome to Read the Bible with me, with Steve Hernandez. I'm Steve Hernandez. Can I get through my fucking intro?
Sorry, your fucking face.
I'm Steve Hernandez. Please, thank you for listening. Please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are sold. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon member. If you're not a Patreon member, consider it at patreon.com/Read the Bible with Me podcast. I pump out little mini podcasts where I'm talking solo for a while called Put It in My Mouth, based around food a lot. I like to kind of talk about what I ate for the week. And then I found that stories just flow out of you when you're talking about food and eating. Boy, have we got an incredible show for you today. I'm so excited. Her and I have been friends for a long time. Her name is Richelle Meiss. She's a fantastic She's a fantastic comedian, and she also wrote Bachelor, the unauthorized parody musical, playing at the Apollo Theater in Chicago now, just extended through February 17th. So if you're in Chicago, go see this. It's such a funny show. Of course, and she's the co-host of the Walk You Out podcast based around the Bachelor franchise. I'm so excited to have her. We always say plays together. I've known her for so long. I love her. Please give it up for Richelle Meiss. How are you, Richelle?
Oh, what an intro. I like that.
And you just told us you love our podcast, right?
I love this podcast. And honestly, I don't listen to a lot of my friends' podcasts.
Yeah.
But I do find it very interesting. And also what's interesting is everybody's take on religion is so different, even if they grew up religious. I just find it fascinating to listen to.
And you grew up, oh, by the way, let me talk to this. Gerardo's not going to be on this episode. We've been talking about this a lot on the Patreon episodes, but he is phasing himself out. He's in the corner, and he forgot his camera today, and he didn't bring a mic.
What a cutie, though.
He's very cute, right?
Aww.
Richelle, I've always seen you with a Mexican.
Are?
No, I've always seen you, ultimately, you're going to settle down with a Mexican.
Interesting, okay.
You've got that vibe.
What does that mean? Soccer mom vibes. I think it's soccer mom vibes. I'm serious.
Yeah, you for sure have soccer mom. Rochelle's on commercials and stuff all that. Okay, so Gerardo's phasing himself out of. It's okay. He's phasing himself out of the podcast. He needs to make more money. I do not pay him enough. He deserves to make 3 times what I pay him. But he's been gracious enough. He's going to help me get more equipment and learn how to edit and learn to do this myself. So we love Gerardo. He's going to be nothing but successful. We're going to continue to be friends. He's making the devil's sign right now. You can't see that.
I think this is a mistake. This is a hit podcast in the making. I don't know.
I mean, he's got a hit podcast.
Yeah.
Isimo's big.
Right.
And so he knows, he saw the numbers. He gambled and he saw the numbers. He's like, I do think if it would have taken off, like, wow, he would have been like, yes, this is the way of the future. But my man saw the writing on the wall. And, I don't know if you heard the episode. We talked all about changing the name of the podcast.
Yes.
From Read the Bible.
I think you should.
I think I'm just going to stick with it. Now that Gerardo's leaving.
Yeah.
Because then I know what Gerardo's been trying to do for me. He wants me to have a hit podcast.
Right.
I don't think my podcast is going to be like a hit like that.
Don't sell yourself short. You're going viral on TikTok. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying it's going to be based around. Like, Gerardo's on the analytics. This fool is like looking at the minutes, TikTok, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, so, and I'm just not doing that. I do believe that I am going to be successful in the field that I choose to do, that my popularity will continue to grow. But,
You're very heart-centered. Like, you lead with your heart, not your brain, perhaps.
Yes, I mean that's why I was a pastor, and that's and that's why it's a very bad idea for me to be in the entertainment industry.
Well, yeah, it's interesting.
What's interesting?
I've told you this. I think you have a little bit of self-sabotage about you.
Gerardo would agree. She always thinks that I'm always trying to tank the projects that I do
subconsciously.
Well, why do you think that? What do you mean?
I think you're huge. Everybody loves you. Everything you do is great, but you don't ever try to get bigger, if that makes sense. Like, bring in people that could help.
Yes.
Make money.
Well, they just leave me. Gerardo's leaving me. I mean, he hung for 6 months and now he's leaving, my dad,
Like me, I'm freaking, I get hungry and then I'll do anything it takes to get it.
Yes, and you did that with this musical, Bachelor,
exactly.
the unauthorized parody musical. I've seen this. If you're a fan of The Bachelor, you definitely need to see this show. She workshopped it around town for years.
Yeah.
But it is so funny. And Richelle's been involved with the Bachelor franchise on the peripherals for a long time. You had a podcast with Nick Vale for a while. He's still doing that thing, right?
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Yeah, but you're doing your own thing.
Right.
Fuck you, Nick Vale. Okay, I said that. Richelle didn't say that. Okay.
I didn't say it.
I never liked Nick Vale, okay? I thought he was a bad bachelor. When they chose him to be the Bachelor, I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
Really? You did?
He just wanted it so bad the whole time. He kept like popping up every other season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit.
Popped
And
up
so,
everywhere.
Yeah, so to me, when he finally got it, and then like, I'm with the Bachelor, I'm kind of like, I'm in every like 3 or 4 seasons, like every 2 or 3, 4 years.
You got to. You can't watch every season. It's too much.
It's because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hours long.
Oh,
There's 2
for
episodes.
sure.
I don't know if you know this, Schroeder, but every week they start being like 2-hour episodes.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's such filler. A lot of it, they're really stretching these things out.
Oh, yeah.
But Nick like wanted it so bad. And then the first episode of his season, this is when I knew I was out, is like he was meeting with like some of the old bachelors, and they're like, he was like, guys, I just can't believe that I'm here, you know? I'm like, oh, you can't believe you're here? Even though you've been fucking popping up every season, begging to be the fucking it's so odd that they finally chose me. Fuck you, Nick. I said that. Richelle didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
But when you wrote Bachelor, the unauthorized parody musical, when you watch it, it's obviously a fan wrote this because there's a bunch of little things, but anybody can go watch it. Why have you tied yourself so closely to this franchise?
Okay. I think it's just like you get feedback, from the universe, and then you got to follow that. Like I've done a million other things, just nobody liked it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't just keep doing stuff no one likes.
Yes.
But if someone likes it, you can keep doing it and keep making it bigger and bigger. And I get a lot of joy out of other people performing stuff that I wrote that also have fun performing. Like that's the best feeling ever. Like these kids in Chicago are having the time of their life, and it makes me so happy.
I mean, I can't believe she did this. I make sure you go to slamdance.com and check out my friend Whit and Clay's movie. I'm in it for a couple of minutes. Great scene. People say probably I stole the whole thing.
What kind of character?
It's a neighbor character. Let me just say that.
A neighbor?
Yeah.
Sexy neighbor?
But go to slamdance.com for the next few days till the 6th. It's a great movie. All that to say, I watched their movie last night, and it's a great movie. You're going to love it, yeah.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, my buddies are making it. I saw your play, and it's your musical, and I was like, I can't believe I know the person that wrote this.
Aww.
Yeah. And
That's
so,
sweet.
To you, I know you just went to Chicago to help launch the show.
Yeah.
And that must have felt, you and me, we've been struggling for 10 years plus now.
Yeah.
So that must have felt like, I guess this is part of the dream coming true, right?
Definitely part of it. It's like anytime your dream comes true, it's never like you imagined it to be, I guess. And I'm just going to say this, Steve. Yes. I do think as a woman, it is hard to have your ideas respected. Even if you freaking create the whole entire thing and work your ass off from the beginning, still, you have to fight for your ideas to be heard and respected. It's absurd.
Yes.
But I mean, that's just part of it, I think. It's not easy, though. It's not easy.
So you had to fight for that even to get this show, different parts of it launched out to me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So you wrote the book.
Yes, and the lyrics, yeah.
The book and the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else wrote the music?
Yeah.
So when you wrote the lyrics, they just looked at the lyrics and they made the music?
No. We worked together.
Okay.
This is what it needs to be.
Who are the people that you worked with for the music?
Sam and Tony are their names. They do a lot. Like Sam would always accompany me in musical improv.
Yes.
So I've known him for years and years. Yeah. Really talented guys.
Yes. Just grinding in the improv
scene, baby.
That's why people like you are, stand-ups naturally usually talk a lot of shit about improv people and all these things. But I know it's the other side of the coin. They're just fucking grinding.
For sure.
So you've taken, like, you spent thousands of dollars on musical improv classes, right?
Oh, please. Rehearsed every week, Steve, for 6 years. Every week.
Oh my
6 years
God.
at my place. Paid a coach every week. I know. It's thinking back, I'm like, what was I even thinking? Like, it's so bad. I feel bad for any audience member that had to see my team perform. Honestly. And I interned at UCB. I would stay there till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Freaking on my knees picking up trash.
Taking the tickets. Did you ever get that job?
Oh, yeah. So that I could get free classes. And those people were mean that ran the theater. They were mean to the interns working for free. And we're like, we're just grateful to be here working for free. You know, that was the vibe. It was kind of awful, but fun. But
Fun,
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy for you, and I'm stoked to have you here finally.
Thank you.
You grew up Christian.
Super Christian.
Yeah. Richelle and I first met at a stand-up show at the Lyric Theater that isn't there anymore. It's off of, what was it off of, La Brea?
Yeah, off La Brea. By that church there.
Yeah, and this is at this point in time, I was, one of my big closers was The Little Mermaid. What a closer. I bring up this joke all the time because I always say, no more Little Mermaid. But if the audience is bad enough, I go, I'm bringing The Little Mermaid back. Because I sing in it. It's an act out. I don't want to tell you the joke. It's a solid joke. I've told I told my sister, my wife's sister's boyfriend's dad.
Damn. Wife, sister's boyfriend's dad.
Yeah, he's a very accomplished lawyer. I sat next to him. Very funny guy.
Yeah.
He's a provocateur. This is so funny.
You're a provocateur.
No,
a little bit.
No, maybe a little bit, but dude, we're standing next to him, and I've talked to this guy once on a Zoom thing before, but he's a very successful lawyer, and he's a Jewish guy. This is all going to come into play because we were at this dinner together, and he was like, "All right, let's just get it out there." He's like, "Woody Allen, I don't think he did it."
Oh my God! What a hill to die on!
I know, and it was so funny because my sister-in-law and then the boyfriend are like, "Oh, great! Like this is what like his dad does. Is this kind of stuff? He'll just say this outlandish stuff." And I also, off of all the stuff I've read and everything, I saw the documentary was damning, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And in a lot of ways. But the dad did bring up this point, and it is something that's always stuck in my head.
Are we going to have to talk about this?
We're talking about it. I didn't count on talking about it.
Keep going.
Okay, this is the one thing that really has stuck in my head through all of it. Everything I know about pedophiles is that... Great guys. No, I'm just No, is that they don't do it just once.
No.
They don't do it once, and they don't do it one time or anything like that. But according to the evidence, it appears to be that was the case with this thing.
You kidding me? He married
a 17 or 18-year-old is not a child.
I know, but he groomed her. She grew up with him.
Yeah, but a pedophile marrying an 18-year-old is a. I can't believe I'm talking about this.
I mean, why do we have to have a narrow definition of a pedophile? Like, they all don't all fall into, like, it's not like, you know.
I think that the definition of pedophile has to be narrow because it means someone who likes to have sex with kids.
Yeah, but they all don't follow the same exact rules. It's like, if you're a pedophile, you do this, and this. It's not like that. And then all I have to say, and we will not talk about this anymore. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, what am I doing talking about this on a podcast?
It's fine. I mean...
I know, well, everyone agrees with you. I'm the one who...
I would hope so.
Yeah. Everyone agrees with you.
Okay,
I'm the one who's saying the crazy shit right now.
Well, you got dimples. You can literally say anything. Don't you think that's what it is with you? It's the dimples.
I'm first I got that Stephen Fury word podcast last week.
You're like, listen, as a man, it didn't bother me. I was like, great, yeah. I'm glad it didn't bother you, Steve.
No, I did not say it didn't bother me. I said it felt like a slap in the face when Steven said the C word, but I was like, I don't know.
You know what also you said? You're like, I can tell that he likes women or something like that. I'm like,
well, as a guy, I could talk to guys and I can generally tell if a woman says, no, this guy hates women, then I have to listen to them. But as a guy, I can generally tell when guys have issues with women.
Issues.
Yes, like, oh, this guy doesn't like women, or there's something going on with them.
Yeah.
They don't have women friends. The way they talk. I I can tell my spider sense goes off, and I clock it. And it's nothing like, that's what being a guy is so like, I think kind of, not different, because women... Why am I doing Richelle? No, you're my you're such my friend. You're getting me to spill like all this stuff on the podcast.
I just think you struggle with black and white thinking a bit. I'm just gonna put it out there, which a lot of people do, but I don't think hating women is like a yes, you hate women, or no, you hate.
Absolutely not. That's why I said issues. I was like, you could tell when guys have issues with women, and I don't think people that I think there's definitely bunches of levels of how much someone hates someone. You're arguing that there's a bunch of different levels for pedophiles.
Yeah, there's lots of pedophile levels. Come on, there's gotta be.
But I'm just saying, isn't the definition of a pedophile someone who likes to have sex with kids?
Listen, I don't know what the definition is. I don't know.
Shouldn't that be the definition? I mean, don't words mean things is what I'm saying? And if they stop meaning the things...
Words mean things, yes, and it does mean yes.
Yes.
Likes to, yes.
Yes, and if he's groomed her, let's say he groomed her, then I'd never wanted to defend Woody Allen ever on this fucking podcast. We're talking about, like, if this is a math problem, okay?
Yeah, and that's the problem, it's not.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? We could really solve pedophilia tonight if it was a math problem.
I'm just saying, though, you say he groomed her. He married when she's 18, and he stayed married to her for 40 or 50 years.
Congratulations.
No, I'm just saying, he's still a pedophile by being with his 50, 60-year-old wife?
No, he's a pedophile for abusing his child.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with her, right? So I'm just saying, in the past...
No, you said if they have sex, if they're a pedophile, they won't just do it once. Yeah. Well, I think that in itself, him with his daughter that he groomed, his stepdaughter that he groomed, or whatever she was... That's a pattern to me. That's enough of a pattern to me. Okay.
I mean, I truly do not want to defend Woody Allen. I'm just saying the difference between having...
I'm personally not offended by this
I know you're not, but we're on a podcast that hundreds and then thousands of people will listen to. I'm just saying there's a huge difference between someone who has sex with a 17-year-old and someone who has sex with a 5 or 6-year-old like he was accused of. That's a real...
He was not accused of having sex with her, was he?
Doing sexual things with his dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying a 6-year-old and a 17-year-old, that is not the... And to say that, because he did this equals that.
That's not what people are saying. They're not saying because he married his stepdaughter, it means that this is true. It's true because she's saying it's true, and she's saying that it happened.
Yes.
And why would she say that unless it was true?
Except that we know, God, I can't believe, because of the McMartin preschool case, that once kids get things in their head, they will start to say crazy things.
The McMartin preschool case. I guess I'm not familiar with that. Now I'm getting triggered, and I will. Can I tell you something or not?
Yeah,
is it TMI?
No.
So my cousin, is this TMI?
No.
Okay, my cousin did.
I'm screwed.
We can't cancel Steve Hernandez. We need him. We need him. He's got dimples. He's uncancelable.
Like I said, we're just talking like friends right now. Yeah. And I'd love for you to tell me things where I go like, you know what, you're absolutely right, Michelle.
So the reason I'm triggered, my cousin did abuse me and my sister. Yeah. And then they brush it off, you know, whatever. He was older than us, but it's like, whatever, he's growing up. He's a boy. Then his daughter accuses him of abusing him, and the whole family, she's lying, she's messed up, and it's so hard for me. Like, why would you say your own father did that? Like the pain, the horror of saying that, like people don't just do that randomly, and it's like for people to ignore that. Sorry, I'm like,
no, you're okay.
It's like,
and in this specific instance, that I 1000% agree with you, especially because he has a track record of doing it before.
Yeah, but he was younger then, so it technically, I guess, wouldn't be pedophilia. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna go black and white math problem, I guess the math problem equation doesn't add up, but still, it's wrong, and it's like, to not believe them, it's just like kills me just because of my own personal thing.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. That's awful.
It's okay.
What I'm talking about is the McMartin case, and I don't know if you've seen the Capturing the Freedmans, but if adults are pressuring kids to say that they experience things, not that the kid came out and said it, then it's been found that kids will say to please their parents.
And you really think parents are going to pressure their kids into saying that they were abused by their parent? Like that they would do that?
I'm saying that Woody Allen's argument, I feel so terrible talking about this.
No, talk about it.
I know, but I feel so terrible talking about it. Woody Allen's argument, which I don't, like I said, the only reason I ever clocked any of this stuff where I'm like, that's the one thing that got me, is that pedophiles famously keep doing it to more than one person. That's the only reason why I said it. I do believe this woman. I think that the show was damning, but that is a huge point of contention. It's something that in my head, it was always like, ugh. Now, I don't think Woody Allen's a good guy. I think in a lot of ways, he's a very, very bad man.
What's that rule of like the most plausible answer is usually the right one?
Yes.
So that's like that he did it. The least plausible thing is that someone came up with something that horrific and planted it in their own child's head and made them believe it.
Yes.
That's like 10 steps away from the most logical answer. Yet people are more willing to go there than admit that this person did this thing.
If he was found guilty, I would be like, yeah, okay, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
And that's what if I had to put money on the thing.
Yeah.
Let's put it on this motherfucker's a pedophile.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I've always is that, like I said, that pedophiles famously will molest more than one kid. That is the thing in my head that when you look at all the cases, when you see everything, it happens more than one time or with more than one different kid.
And how do we know he didn't?
That's true. That's a perfectly logical thing. There might be some other kids hanging out Woody Allen's place watching.
I don't think most people like talking about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. I mean, that's what we're just talking about here. On
oh
this
my
podcast.
Gosh, watching documentaries about kids that were in the Catholic Church, like there is nothing that kills me more than watching those documentaries. I mean, these
what was
kids.
It called? The Believers or that one with the nuns?
Recent one.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. There's a recent one on Netflix. This is such a sad. This is a sad podcast.
Yeah,
Should we start over?
No, we can't. But let me be clear. I am not defending Woody Allen. So
he's just playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm telling you honestly in my head, that's one thing that's always stuck in my craw is that. But you're right. There could be some other kids around his house watching Manhattan, and the accusations haven't come out yet with these other kids or anything.
And plus, you just look at his freaking movies.
Yeah, I do think there's a difference between molesting a 6-year-old and then even sexualizing a 16 or 17-year-old.
Okay.
I do think that. That other one's not good, but that's not pedophile behavior. I don't know what that is. That's gross, but it was okay 30 years ago. Frank Sinatra, when he was 50, got with Mia Farrow when she was 19. And it was great.
Right.
Guys used to fantasize about being old and being with a 20-year-old.
Right.
Does that mean that there's maybe some kind of weird pedophilia, sexualizing girls when they're young thing ingrained in men and misogyny in our misogynist? Yes, that very well could be the case.
Yeah,
that could be, but then we're talking about very specific things. I cannot believe we're talking about Woody Allen, Richelle. You piece of shit.
I didn't bring it up.
I know.
I did not bring this up.
I know, but I'm really sorry that happened.
I do think. Just think for yourself. Yeah. Just explore that black and white thinking that you might be.
I don't have black and white thinking.
A little. I'm sensing it.
I'm telling. No. I'm telling you.
You literally describe pedophilia as a math problem.
No. I'm just saying if we're talking about a thing as an argument, like a lawyer's. That's not a math problem. I should have said like lawyers. Okay. Like it's a case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. God, isn't it sad to be a woman? You have to freaking have a case for people to believe what you say.
Well, not women. If a woman says, I'm saying
people who aren't in power, I guess.
That's why specifically. Because when I think about the McMartin case or the documentary, watch Capturing the Freedmen. We're going to watch Capturing the Freedmen together.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the saddest, best documentary I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that one, it was like the East Coast McMartin case, where this guy gets accused of, in this class, molesting all these kids, and the accusations are outlandish. But then they found that with kids, that you can, if they sense they want you want them to say something, then they'll start to say it and then they'll start to believe it. I don't think that's the case all the time or anything like that. I'm not trying to I'm trying to believe women all the fucking time, okay? Even little ones.
God. Oh, no.
I cannot. This is a good podcast, at least.
Is
like
it?
I said,
I don't know.
I think people, I'm
trigger warning.
Yeah, forgive me. Yeah, I am going to have to give a trigger warning. Jeez. Oh, God, Richelle. Do you still love God?
No.
Okay, but your family's still very much believers.
My dad is a minister.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I knew that. So he has his own church.
No. So in my church, the church I grew up in, the congregation elects ministers from the congregation, and then it's not like they get paid. So they're.
What denomination is this?
Oh, you don't know any of this?
We're talking. This is a podcast.
We're talking.
Yeah.
It is it's just a really insular, Anabaptist type. Honestly, I'm not really sure. It's like a Mennonite offshoot kind of. It's like farm towns in the Midwest, this kind of church happens.
So this is why you have pictures of you and your sisters all dressed the same and stuff. And little dresses like that.
Yeah, what's that show? The Duggars. It's like Duggar vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so your dad's a still minister in this religion?
Oh my gosh, Steve. How have I not told you this? So
even if you did tell me this, we're on a podcast.
No, are we? Yes. So the ministers, they don't prepare at all. They literally go up, open the Bible, and then have to read it and then improvise a sermon. Because theoretically, the word of God flows through them. So it's not people talking, it's God talking. But that's really hard to do. Really hard to do.
Yeah.
So these sermons are bad, Steve. They're so boring, but I can sit through anything. I have great attention span and fortitude and resilience. Literally. We would be at church from 10 to 2 p.m. every Sunday. 10 to 2 p.m., Steve.
I've never even heard of that.
Sitting there.
Pentecostal.
Oh, and the women, they have this whole thing they do because the women sit opposite the men, different. Yeah, yeah. So first they get out the hard candies, and then they pass it down. Then they get out the hand lotion, and they all do the hand lotion. They pass the hand lotion down. Then they'll rub the shoulders, do a little shoulder massage, and then they'll repeat that ad nauseum. There's little things to get you through.
Okay.
To get you through.
So.
But can I tell you something?
Okay, but hold on. I've got so many questions right there. And hold on to, can you tell me? Okay, actually, can you tell me something? Yes, go on.
I love my dad so much.
Yes.
I love my dad so much. He's brilliant.
Yes.
He's brilliant. He's not good at improvising sermons. He's not good at it, and it's hard.
Yes.
He just does basically one run-on sentence, and you're just trying to follow. I think it's very scary. Can you imagine someone who's trained in improv doing that? Someone who's just a lay person getting up, an engineer getting up.
He's an engineer, yeah.
Having to talk for 30 minutes, out of thin air in front of everybody you know and love. There are ministers that are good at this improvising sermons thing. And I figured it out. I was thinking about it on the way here. They have all these stories in their arsenal that they pull out. They're this reminds me of a story. And then everybody's crying. They're wow, that's so moving. But if you don't have that arsenal of stories, you're out to sea, man.
So there were guys, and how do they choose who got to go up every Sunday?
So there's one elder of each church.
Yeah.
He's the head guy, and then they all rotate. Who's got the morning sermon, and then a different one comes up as a closing little sermon, and then
how many of them were there?
Well, my church in Phoenix was bigger, so there were 5, and now my dad's in a smaller church, and there's 2. And then there'd be visiting ministers from other, greetings from Eureka, Illinois, and then they would preach, and you'd be wow.
And every time, that's a huge thing, is you just go improv.
Yeah, you're not allowed to prepare. On Easter, you can prepare, and Christmas, you can prepare. Otherwise, no.
And who picks the verses?
You literally open up the Bible. It's like Bible roulette.
So nobody's opening up at the Old Testament.
Oh, they are. No, Old Testament first, and then a little sermon, and then sing New Testament after. So we're sitting there reading, and whoever begat Job, begat Seraphina, all these words that are so hard to understand. This minister is just suffering through this, sweating bullets, and you're just this sucks. And then he has to make up a sermon about it, and you're well, good luck here, buddy.
What an odd that is just, it's a game. That's just straight up an improv game.
Yeah, but you got to respect the attempt to get ego out of it and performance and take all that out.
Sure, but it's still such a funny thing to hang your whole church on is this improv game. Because they're hanging all this time, and every Sunday, they're hanging their whole like religion on this particular improv game.
It doesn't feel like that when you're there. It's like
because you're fucking
small part
bored
of
out of your fucking mind.
You're there, you like whatever. It's truth. You believe the Bible is true. Yeah. You're going to heaven. Blah blah blah. Who cares?
You poor little baby. I'm just picturing you like waiting for the candy, like looking down, lotion, like something to break it up.
Yeah, those little lemon candies. Have you ever had those? They're like lemon. I don't know. Great candies. Great candies.
And you are, out of all, I believe you have 2 sisters?
Mm-hmm, and a brother.
And 1 brother.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all of them, are they still believers? Are you the only one that doesn't believe anymore?
I think only my sister, but my younger siblings, like, just don't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of bad for talking about it.
And they're mad at you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here I am continuing to do it. Nobody tell them.
It is. My mom, if you listen to the podcast, she listened to the 3rd episode, one when I was like talking mad shit about her not getting the vaccine, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we got in a fight, but we never fought. I just heard she listened to it and that it broke her heart. And then I hit her up and I said, hey, I heard you listen to it. We'll talk soon. And we just didn't talk for like 4 or 5 months. Mm-hmm. And that's a long time for us to not talk.
Yeah.
And then I saw her on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And she was like, because my mom's a prophet. She'll tell you I'm a prophet of God.
Oh, I didn't know
God
that.
talks directly to me.
Yeah.
And she saw me at Thanksgiving. I hadn't seen her. And when she was leaving, she's like, hey, I just want you to know it's okay for you to whatever you believe in. I want to respect that. And
wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's always like, my mom's always very much trying to like meet us.
She loves you.
Yeah, not to like write us off or anything like that. But, even yesterday she came over and she's still like, nothing changed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was she saying?
Anything bad to us. We watched the Moses Storm special.
Aww.
Yeah, she really liked it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
Gerardo didn't like it. No, did you see it?
That's okay. You're allowed to not like it.
Man,
I saw it live. I saw the taping.
Yeah, you saw the taping live.
It was so, I love it because, like, I look up to him, as like a storyteller. Yes. And I used to go see him at the Moth because I would be putting my name in at the Moth. And he would freaking kill. He won every time. Every time he would win. The Moth storytelling event. Like you can't deny, I know some people don't like that style of comedy or whatever, but like to me, I like what he's doing.
Well, I liked what he did too.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great special, but I think probably when Gerardo's going crazy over there, you're probably,
I wish he had a mic
stand-up,
so
right?
I love Moses Storm, that's why.
Yeah.
But do you think Mike Birbiglia stand-up?
I like Mike Birbiglia, but Moses Storm's stand-up, it was just not a good representation of what I like about his stand-up.
Oh, interesting. If you didn't hear that on the mic, Gerardo said he's a big Moses Storm fan, but he doesn't feel like it was a good representation of Moses' stand-up, which that's a very interesting argument.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after because we will dissect this.
Yes.
But I thought it was I thought it was a great piece.
A great piece. Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't it be a great piece?
It can.
Yeah.
And I don't think Moses would say even like be mad that you're not saying that this is a one-man show.
Right. I don't either. Like, why do we, again, black and white thinking, like, why do we got to put it in a box?
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. Like, let's free ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's and to me, what's important to me is people who are always trying to push. I love stand-up so much, and I love people who are trying to push the art forward. And I do believe he did that, especially with the stage and the lighting. Yeah. And how he used that stage as like a projector, I thought was very cool and interesting.
And I was listening to him on Conan last week. Like he was saying he healed himself through this process of telling his story. Like he's forgiven his mom.
Yes.
I'm like, that's like, to me, that's what art is about. Maybe other people like disagree, but it's like at its core, like I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think that's what art, to me, I think what stand-up is about is I love when people are being the most authentic version of themselves.
Okay.
And that's going to look different to everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're going to get like the Elysian Theater kind of like crazy, like queer, like, oh my, that's not stand-up people saying that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're going to get, and then.
Although you had a real hot take on Hannah, or not hot, but you do not like.
No, I loved it.
Did you?
Loved it.
I thought you were saying kind of.
Oh, no, I was making fun of it because I'm a comedian.
Okay.
I loved Nanette.
Okay, I loved it too.
I cried
Me
during
too.
Nanette.
Like, what do you want? What more
Granted,
could you want?
I was drunk. I do. I'll forever miss. I haven't drank in over 3 years now, but I'll forever miss watching, like, being drunk on martinis, watching like a comedy special or watching a movie or something, and just like weeping at home. Like,
you made fun of me for getting a beer at the theater the other day.
What do you mean?
When we were sing Come On, Come On, I got a beer, and you were like, who gets a beer at the movie theater?
I mean, I really do think that's crazy to get one beer at the movie theater.
What's wrong with that?
Because why? I mean, I'm an alcoholic.
You just said there's nothing you enjoy more than
being
drinking
drunk and watching a special is what I said. You'll never hear me say, what I miss is getting a nice cold one and watching a movie in the theater. That sounds like an insane person, in my opinion.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but I miss being wasted watching art and weeping freely in my home.
Can you weep freely sober or not?
I'll cry, but no.
Okay.
Because that is like drinking. I mean, did you used to cry that much, Gerardo, doing it?
No, not until I got sober.
No, he started
now he's crying more. Good for you.
I cry like during stuff now when, like, if I'm moved. I'm not afraid to cry, but I need to be alone.
Would you cry in church a lot?
I'm sure I was moved. To me, I won't do it in front of Julia because I think...
You won't cry in front of Julia?
Generally, I'll try not to because I think she likes it too much.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, girls love when guys cry.
Really?
Generally. Not Latinas, okay? They hate it. Oh. Yeah, Latinas will write you off, then they'll be like, pinche bitch, whatever. I don't know. They'll get mad. They'll think you're a woman if you cry. In fact, it's so funny. I've had sex with having sex with girls, Mexicans, white girl, whatever, in Covina compared to having them out here.
Yeah.
Out here you're supposed to be asked like different levels of consent at each level, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Having sex with girls in Covina, they get mad. They go really? Like you're talking too much. Oh. They say stop. They don't want you to check.
Sure?
I'm at the very.
I don't know.
In my limited experience, but y'all know I fuck a lot. They've gotten mad. They get mad.
Asking for consent or
different
like
levels
being
of consent,
like
checking in
like
throughout the thing. Baby, you like that, baby? Yeah, for some reason they don't like that when I say
it's like,
baby.
It's so annoying. It's like definitely about consent, not like what I'm saying. It's completely a turn off.
No, just checking in to see how they're feeling and all that stuff. Yeah. They generally, in my limited experience, do not like the checking in the suburbs.
All right.
But out here, you got to do that. So,
yeah. Ugh, such a pain in the ass.
No, I like doing it because I want to make sure like everyone's having fun still.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
I know that.
I like when everyone's having fun still.
Yeah, everyone should, I think. Can I say something though?
Yeah.
My dad never cries in real life. Very stoic person. Every time he preaches, he cries. Every time.
Do you think he's faking?
No.
So he's just so moved by the word of God.
Or the whole experience is just like a lot of, I don't know, stuff happening.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'll
so
never figure it out.
When you were little and you would watch your dad cry, what would you think?
No. He got chosen to be minister. I was in high school. It was very hard for me.
How so?
Because I knew him as like a person with faults, and like all of a sudden he was going to be up in front of the church. And I guess I like thought of ministers as like not perfect people, but like everybody looks to them for guidance. And I'm like, this is just like a person, Yeah. It was a hard transition for me. Well, transitions have always been hard, but
it's for any minister's kid.
Yeah.
That they see, Julia's dad was a minister.
Oh, really?
Yes. And she's never like...
He seems like a great guy.
He is a great guy, but he's had to like work through a lot of stuff. He had a terrible childhood.
Really?
But Julia, saw her dad being angry, saw her being bad at all these things and all these things. So, and then she saw people worshiping him, basically.
Right.
And so for her, she never even... that connection with God, whatever that you and I have with religion and stuff, she just doesn't have that at all.
Huh.
Because she just checked. She
never experienced the...
No, the Holy Spirit or any of that stuff. I think she checked out And probably rightfully so. And she was like, if these people are like so stupid that they worship my dad.
I mean, I felt the same. I felt that
you were
same
already
emotions.
a grown up.
I was a grown up. Yeah.
I think she was like 4 or 5 and was like,
interesting.
just checked that. Said, oh, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And so she checked out. Yeah. Yeah, I think good for her, maybe. I mean, she's got astrology
Maybe.
now. I go back and forth. I don't know how you feel about this, but I go back and forth about whether or not I'm grateful for my experience growing up in the church and with the Bible and God and stuff. Are you grateful for it?
I try to make a habit of not wishing change. Like, I love this amore fate. Is that how you say it? Like, love of fate. Mm-hmm. I love everything that's happened to me. And like, I think anything that happens to you as a child, like, it's all like, there's no perfect way. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of religious trauma that I'm still honestly just like learning about. And it's kind of scary to even unpack, which I think a lot of people just are like, okay, it's done now. I'm not going to think about it ever again. But the fact that I was in a community of people that their main goal wasn't making money, being famous, like being accepted by society, like they were just kind of like chilling, waiting to go to heaven. Like, that's kind of crazy and cool in a way.
Yes, and even though I was teasing about that, and you're teasing too, because it was like, yikes, I can't believe they have to open the Bible and do this.
Yeah.
That is kind of death-defying in a way.
And
they did,
interesting.
No, I mean, these men did that, even though they were going to eat shit, maybe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they were doing it for the right reasons.
Right? Yeah.
And so even when it sucked, like, they knew it was sucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just eating shit, but they felt they were, like, eating shit for God.
Yeah.
Which is completely different than the kind of churches we review and talk about on this podcast.
That's why I found it so fascinating listening to you talk about, what's that church called? The Chad Veach Church?
Chad Veach's church?
Yeah.
Zoe.
Yeah. Growing up, my friends would go to the cool churches and they would have, what are those called?
She's doing a goatee sign if you're just listening audio.
All the ministers at their church had goatees, or pastors, or whatever you call them. I was like, because they weren't allowed to have facial hair at my church, and I was like, that is not good. That's not good. And they would have rock bands on stage. I'm like, that's not good. Like, that was so crazy to me and showy and performative. Like, we weren't even allowed to have instruments.
Yes.
Mine.
And it's so funny when I grew up in church and I hearing about churches like yours. I remember one of the first times my faith like got a crack in it was we went to France for a mission trip when I was like 19 or 20, and I went to like these people's church. Though we were staying with this group of people, and we went to like their church, and it was one of the most boring things I've ever been to.
Okay,
and I was like, these people, you can't blame them for not becoming Christians because this is the most boring thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to liven this shit up.
Oh.
Like, we got to make it like...
See, you're a performer.
Yeah. Well, we got to hike this thing up. We got to entice them to Christ.
Yeah.
But so in your religion, though, I mean, nobody's converting to that religion.
Like theoretically, we wanted people to.
Yes.
But actually... it felt very hostile to strangers because we dressed a certain way. Everybody was related. Like I would go to a church in the middle of Minnesota and they'd be like, oh, your grandfather is my sister's second cousin's wife's. And they would like literally every woman could line up the family trees that you're in. And you're just like, okay, yeah. Like now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's insane. But growing up, I was just like, yeah, this is like, I was born into this legacy. Like this is my blood. Like, this church.
So when you were thinking about going to college, you were thinking about getting away from this.
No.
Oh, you just want to go to college?
Yeah, I love school.
And you did?
I love school. I miss it.
Richelle, I love you to death, man.
I love you. I miss it so much.
I love school.
I do. So easy. Someone tells you what to do and you do it and then you feel good about yourself. I loved that.
So... but then you got to school. What college did you go to? I forget.
Oh, University of Arizona.
Okay. You went to a party school?
Went to a party school.
That must have been awful.
Yeah, but they gave me full ride, so I had to go.
Yeah. But it must have been awful for you.
So I majored in musical theater, and we were like our own, like we could only wear black. Like we were not a part of anybody else.
And that's all great that they told you can only wear one color and stuff, right?
Kind of.
Then you didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to feel like a nerd or anything.
No, yeah, and we were like all together, like
yes.
it's us against the world type of thing.
Yeah, the rest of the people here at the University of Arizona. Did you ever go to those football games or anything?
No.
Yeah.
I was an RA actually at like the party dorm, and I would see girls like come out and literally they would wear caution tape, like as a dress.
Yeah.
Like they would wear the craziest things as a dress, like literally the hottest girls you've ever seen in your life. And I would be the RA, and I'd be like, they would cry. They would come back and just be sitting in the hallway crying all the time. These girls are crying.
Yes.
And you just feel bad for them, you know? Yeah. And it's like, what are you going to do? But yeah, that's the closest I got to that world. Being an RA. I
love that they were just weak. I mean, because they have these high hopes, and then they just get treated like trash by college boys.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then they come home.
And they're so drunk.
Yeah, and they're wasted.
Yeah.
But every week they're like, this week's going to be different.
Yeah, they spend so much time getting ready.
They're like, this week's going to be different when I go get wasted.
Yeah.
And they get like taken advantage of by these guys, the same guys from last week.
Yeah.
God, see, stuff like that, it makes you want to be a Christian again and be like, well, he's right. I'm always looking at these clips and stuff, and sometimes the clips...
What clips?
Of when I'm looking for pastors.
Oh, right.
So I'm listening to a lot of teachings and stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like when you think of God or Christ, I think of God, I think of it as the divine, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which I still try to live my life by the divine. The people will say some like pretty poetic things if you think about God bless you or Christ, and turning to that thing instead of this thing.
Wait, say it again.
Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes some of the pastors will talk about turning to God or Christ in the face of these things, and I think that is the right thing to do.
In the face of
adversity or values, or if you want this certain thing in life, you should not be chasing after this thing. Mm-hmm. Even when we're talking about these girls or whatever, mm-hmm. or even let's say we're talking about dating, which you and I love to talk about. We're talking about dating. If you want a relationship, mm-hmm. Then you should line up your actions with that thing.
Okay.
So a lot of people still will sleep around or lie on the websites or the apps and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they want a boyfriend, they'll be doing this thing.
Sleeping around?
I mean, we're just talking.
Okay.
Yeah. You know I like to fuck.
Yeah, but that shouldn't keep you from getting a boyfriend sleeping around.
Yeah, of course. But there are like... We're just talking here. I'm just saying words.
Yeah, say it.
I don't believe these things
say
either.
It.
Yeah. Julie and I had sex the first time we like...
Great.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
So yeah, I don't like buy any of that shit, but I'm just saying you should be clear about what you want. You should be honest about what you want, and then you should be honest with the people that you're hooking up with about what you want.
Mm-hmm. What does that have to do with turning to God, though? I don't get the...
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just talking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that them crying in the hall, like, there's just a lot of probably bad stuff going on, especially in the culture of that time. Plus, I think we glorified alcohol so much. Like, I hope that we're getting out of that as a culture. But, like, in college, like, it was all about alcohol.
Yes.
And
I mean, Gerardo and I are sober, so
I know.
Gerardo's saying yes over there.
Yeah, like, it can be moderation, but the way that it was, like, pushed, like, if you weren't getting... like blackout every night of the week, basically, you're like so lame,
Yeah.
Like, I felt bad about myself all the time that I didn't drink a lot.
Yeah.
I felt bad about myself, and now I'm like, that's absurd to feel bad about that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's we should talk about drinking, at least it's drugs.
Yeah, right? Just acknowledge it, yeah.
So Julia, now that she'll drink out, she used to drink as much as me. Like she used to get drunk, and we would get drunk 4, 5, 6 times a week.
I've heard some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, your before times.
Yeah. So she would drink as much as me, and now she just doesn't at all.
Yeah.
But every now and then she will.
Right.
Like we went to my Chatterbox Christmas party, and she got drunk, but she stopped drinking early. She probably had 5 drinks.
Right.
But we were talking about it the next day, and she was like, yeah, she's like, it's so crazy that we used to just do that. Because the real crazy part is like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on drugs in front of like strangers or around strangers.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a real trust trust that people have. Yeah.
Like, I'm not against psychedelics. I'll still do psychedelics once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But the idea of who I would do that with,
Yeah.
my very closest friends, which I haven't even done it with that. I've done it with Julia. But the idea of like doing mushrooms like in public, like at a bar with people, I'm like, this sounds crazy. This is crazy. But that's what drinking is a lot of times.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Especially for women. They're letting down their guard when it's dangerous out there for women.
Oh, yeah. Predatorial. Yeah. Hopefully that culture is changing in college.
I just want to clear up something. I was talking about one thing, and then we got into dating. They had nothing to do with each other, okay? Michelle's always trying to press me,
I'm trying to pit you in a corner and get you to say the wrong thing.
Trying to get me to say black and white things, but I don't think that way, okay? I don't think black and white. What are we at, Gerardo? What time?
50.
50.
Oh, shit. Well, anyway, you were asking me what if I like went to college to get away from religion.
Yeah.
I still would go to my church every Sunday, go get my car at the garage. You know, no one's on campus at that hour, drive to church.
You still go to church?
Yeah, because I assumed I was going to repent and join the church eventually once I got like my kicks out or whatever.
And your drama club kicks?
Yeah, right. Those sinful drama club activities.
So wait, when you kissed a boy, how old were you when you first kissed a boy?
Last day of freshman year of college.
Did you feel bad about it?
I cried immediately. Immediately cried, and I said I thought my first kiss was going to be with my husband.
You cried right in front of the guy?
It was a Mexican man, actually.
See? I knew it. The janitor. It was the janitor.
No.
No, wait a minute. So you cried right away, right in front of the guy?
Oh, yeah. I felt so bad. So bad.
You kissed this Mexican man, and you just start weeping. And then what did he say? He was like, what's going on?
Yeah, he was like, what's going on? I was like, I thought my first kiss was going to be with my husband, you know? Like.
But you were so tempted. You wanted to kiss him so bad.
Yeah.
And then you just started.
I literally would think about it all day, every day. Like, that's how I went to sleep at night, was just thinking about kissing a boy. Every night, I'm like, let's think about this before we go to sleep.
Like, I wonder what those lips are going to feel like. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, my God. And then you finally did it. But then you felt awful.
Terrible.
Do you remember the first time you kissed someone and it felt good and you allowed yourself for it to feel good?
Oh, the first time it felt amazing, and then it felt terrible.
Oh, but still.
Always things felt great and then terrible for like 3 days.
But he was a good kisser. You loved it.
I loved it.
Oh,
he says it was a terrible time. I was like, he's like, you wouldn't let me do anything. I was like, well, to me, it was like crazy, you know? It must have been bad.
I know.
It must have been really bad.
Yeah, you don't know how to move your head or like, you know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And so when did you like finally start to really question your faith?
Okay. So I studied abroad in Spain. You know, I'm one of those girls that always had an event. Yes. Studied abroad in Spain.
How old were you?
I think it was between junior and senior year, I believe, or sophomore and junior. One of them. And I stayed with this like family. They were the richest family in town. Like, they were freaking awesome. And they showed me so much love. They weren't religious.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't have to do anything for them to show me love.
Yeah.
And I was so used to like trying so hard, being so perfect to like earn, you know. And I was like confused because I thought like God was love. And if you didn't have God, you had a hole in your heart. You were like a shell of a person.
Yeah.
I honestly believe you were incapable of love if you were not a Christian.
Whoa.
I think I did.
Yeah.
And then to receive love like that, I was like, I somehow understood it was not tied to like one specific religion.
And this family just being that gracious and loving towards you made you think that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's so odd to me. I'm looking at all these pastors and so much of it is like relying on if you're unhappy or you feel this hole in your heart
like that.
and you're lonely.
I know, they prey on them.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what? I was like, what about regular, just good, happy people?
Because the message is you can't be regular and happy if you don't have the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lie.
Unless the love of God is just freely flowing and not tied to like
even the name of God.
Right. Even the name of God.
Which is, if you are a God, if you're a real God and you truly love people, you would not need people to have it tied to your name or to worship you.
A building. And,
or any of this stuff. You wouldn't come up with all these crazy little...
Not having facial hair, tied to not having facial hair? What?
Then you're a dictator. Then if you're a God, all-powerful, you're a monster if you're demanding these
jealous
things.
God. You ever learn that?
Yeah.
All the time. He's a jealous God.
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of that stuff allows Christians to be so gross in a lot of ways like that. Well, like if he's a jealous God, then jealousy isn't a bad emotion. And to me, it's one of the grossest, basest emotion.
Oh yeah, you're polyamorous. So that makes sense.
Now you right now when you thought of that Spanish family, you were moved to tears by it.
Yeah.
Because they really loved you.
I love my parents so much and my family and how I was raised, but I did not feel that I could be who I was and be loved. I was working so hard. Like, I just feel for my younger self. I was working so hard. I was trying so hard. And it's like, you shouldn't have to try it all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is I can't imagine what a terrible feeling that is. And I do think about that for myself when I push back against my mom like this.
Yeah.
I haven't allowed myself to cry or anything like that.
You haven't?
About this... I mean, maybe at some point.
Steve!
Well, I mean, I'm just saying maybe at some point. But I do think what I'm pushing against, or when I'm saying you don't want to watch my comedy, or you don't want to do this, or this all upsets you, what you're saying is I upset you.
Right.
That who I am, because this is who I am.
Right.
And so if you're saying that this bothers you, or I need to change for God's love, I was like, I don't believe that, and I think you're crazy. So I do think that, because I was from such an abused, and my mom had to die inside to survive. Yeah. And that means that we didn't get love.
I know, yeah.
And so that means at some choice, I remember my siblings and I made a choice to be like, it's just us.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck them. We're going to have to take care of each other. We're never going to get anything from them. And so because I did that, I don't have that. You and I have talked about this. I don't have that same thing where I ever wanted their approval or needed it.
Yeah.
Because I said, you guys are losers to me. Because you don't care about your kids. I mean, some little version of me said that, made these decisions.
And that's to say that about your parents, you have to have gone through a lot to get to that point.
Yeah. And so, but it's also a little kid made that decision.
Yeah, but even that, that's not normal. Little kids, worship their parents.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I've had to work out of and continue to work out of, ideas of misogyny and all that kind of stuff, because I remember very clearly at some point I realized about myself telling my mom, being 3 and 4 years old, my mom will tell you, I said that it was we got to go. We got to get away from this guy. We'll live with grandma. We don't need him. We'll figure it out. And my mom just staying.
Yeah.
And now I know as an adult that she was just trying to survive. The idea of leaving with 4 kids and stuff, that she couldn't have even pictured it.
Yeah.
But being 4 and seeing that someone's staying in a position where this person's going to continue to harm us, I said, I guess women are dumb.
Yeah.
I think I made that decision when I was little.
Or that you couldn't trust them.
Or you can't trust them to keep you safe.
To keep you safe.
Or that they are, when I say dumb, I mean they just love men overall and they're going to continue to make bad decisions that don't make sense. And so, which is perfect for the church because the church teaches the same thing.
Oh yeah, I literally don't trust myself at all. I can't make a single decision. I have no belief in my own judgment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the big teaching too in the church is when you're talking about helpmates. That's the best a woman could be is a helpmate to a man.
Helpmate? I've never heard that.
Oh yeah,
term before.
This is the best case scenario for Christian women is that God created us equal, but as a helpmate, a woman is there to be like Adam's rib to help him.
Yeah.
And the man's supposed to take care of her too.
Yeah, that's the trade-off that they taught us.
Yes.
But don't worry, he's in charge, but he's going to take care of you because God's in charge of him.
Yes.
And you're like, you can give it up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you feel good. I know you're putting in the work to get healthy and to think of yourself as an autonomous person and to make decisions and to trust yourself and all that stuff, right?
I'm putting in the work.
Yeah.
However, I still get walked over all the time. I just exude this energy of we can just walk all over it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My therapist is why do people think that about you? I'm I think that's just who I am. I'm
yeah. But you're making moves to change that for yourself.
I'm trying. It's hard.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
But I've seen you grow, and I know that you're making those things happen. And it maybe not as fast as you'd like them to.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, because I've only had one relationship, in college, and then nothing else. And it's like, I'm sure all this stuff has to do with that in some way. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think you're perfect. So,
you know what I wanted to say is, do you think people, like, I feel like certain guys are attracted to me because I appear like that nice white soccer mom that maybe they wish they had, even though that's not necessarily who I am. Yeah. But I'm like, it's like a mom attraction almost.
Sure. I mean, I guess so. You're nice and cute and funny, so are we attracted to our moms? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it. Yeah.
I've always just said too, you're just, you're in this fucking town. You would be married in any other town. If you were besides New York and LA, you would be married with kids by now if that's what you wanted. So it's just this stupid town.
Also, I fell so in love with my first boyfriend. Like, it was just so hard to.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, how old
I just saw him in Chicago. Yeah.
How old were you?
Like, I think we broke up when I was like 22.
Oh.
So young.
Oh my God. Did you have sex with him?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
What? Did I bring it down too much?
No,
I feel like I did.
We're talking. We're having a good time.
Are we?
Yes. I've had a great time. I'm going to wind down. I had clips and stuff. I had Bible that I wanted to get to.
Oh, can we do it?
No.
Okay.
But I do want to play one clip because this clip makes me laugh so much. I believe it's the first one over there, Gerardo. I'm going to put on my headphones. This TikTok really made me laugh. I'm just trying to be conscious of your time, okay? Too. I know we're having fun.
I really want to talk about the Bible sometime.
Well, I'll have you back.
Okay.
I love you. I love talking to you.
Okay.
Dude, check out this TikTok. This TikTok's so funny. Let's press play.
4 facts about heaven that you may have not known. Number 1, we will have our own mansions. Can you imagine having a house that God has prepared, custom tailored to exactly what you like? Number 2, we will get to see our King Jesus face to face. Number 3, there will be no more suffering, only joy, happiness, and never pain and suffering ever again. And number 4, animals will be completely harmless. 4 facts about heaven.
That fourth one I really love, but I love 1 and 4 so much.
Imagine Jesus like seeing that TikTok, like people writing the Bible seeing that TikTok, like they would get a kick out of that. I feel like knowing someday a TikTok like that would be made.
I know, isn't that so great? I love that. Everyone gets their own mansion specified to their wants and their needs. Like,
also, it's like facts you might not know. Was that what the premise was? I was like, who doesn't know that?
4 facts you don't know, and then I love that how he drops at number 4. Animals will be harmless.
Thank God, that's the one thing. That's the one problem I have with Earth. Like, I love tigers, but man, they're scary.
I'll just be fucking lounging on a tiger. What's up, fo? What's up, Tony?
Harmless.
Yeah, just like hugging them, elephants, riding them.
Oh, it is paradise,
and just retire back into my mansion.
Like, yeah, I used to think that.
When you think about heaven, when you think about, this is like religion, you find these things that the Bible does talk about.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's such
Streets are paved with gold.
Like base, childlike. Think about how terrifying animals used to be to people, right?
Yeah.
They were like some of our biggest predators. People lost.
It's literally evolutionary to be scared of animals.
Yeah, you would lose your sister to a snake.
Yes.
Or a tiger. Oh, these damn tigers,
Yeah.
It's like the biggest fear you have is a tiger.
Yeah. It's the basis of life, like killing other things so that you can survive. Like, that's life. You take that away, it's like, that's mortality, humanity,
But these thousands of years later, it's like we're just laughing. Like, that's insane. And number 3, no more pain.
No more pain. Yeah.
I don't know if we understand that joy and pleasure and love we appreciate those things because of the bad things though, right?
Yeah. And I do think this is a tool, people empowered. This is what they use to keep people down, because you say, my life freaking sucks. My life sucks. It's hard, but it's fine. I'm just going to get through it, and then I'm going to have everything in heaven. Yes. I'm not going to try to make it better here. I'm not going to revolt. I'm going to withstand it.
Yes.
And ask for grace and then get it all in heaven. Like, that's all my church was about. You have no fun. because later you're going to have a lot of fun.
Fucking panda bears, jump roping with panda bears, fucking riding bears. The bears are going to be so happy to let you ride them.
Giraffes, man?
You'll be riding a bear.
I guess giraffes aren't
You'll
dangerous.
be riding a bear, pull up right up to your mansion. Bow to my he says in the TikTok, to your specifications, exactly what you like. Man cave, man house. Okay? Straight up, PS5s, every room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have you back, Richelle. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing with us and for being so open.
I apologize for oversharing.
No, this is a podcast. Are you kidding me? That made for a great podcast.
Hopefully.
What you are not going to do is text me later and say, take out that, take out that. You know,
I wouldn't do that.
We're keeping the weeping in. We're keeping
Weeping.
molestation things. I want molestation in the podcast. I want weeping. You're so great. Again, Chicago, if you're around, go check this out. It's open till February 17th. You'll have a fantastic time. Go see this Bachelor musical. If you do not like it, I will give you your money back. That's a Steve Hernandez guarantee. That's how much I liked it. And then check out her podcast, the Walk You Out podcast. Where else can we find you online, Michelle?
Twitter?
Sure.
At Richelle Meiss.
Yeah, and Instagram too.
Instagram, Riche Meiss, RESHMEESE. I
Yes.
got to make those the same probably at some point.
You're fine, just
Okay.
as it is, yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube to get all the videos. Make sure, I know a lot of you guys listen. We get huge numbers on the podcast, not as many on YouTube. Check out Richelle weeping at about the 57 mark.
Oh, God. I noticed he was looking at you mostly so that I could wipe my tears.
That was very sweet of you, Gerardo. Thank you. Me, once I get a hold of those things, I would have been coming in close, focusing in on your tears, then pulling back and forth on it. Like, let's get these tears.
You're like, I noticed you were starting to get choked up. Let's dive more into that.
Barbara Walters.
Yeah, you went on Barbara Walters.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting. That's why that you were so moved by there. And I wanted to know, and it turns out it's because your whole life you had to fight for your love and affection from your family. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't ask. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah. Subscribe, please, at patreon.com. Read the Bible with Me podcast, and you're going to get a bunch of long monologue podcasts that people seem to really be enjoying from me, too. $5 a month. Give me a fucking break. We love you guys. Thank you so much, Gerardo. And we'll see you next week.